Hey, everybody. It's time. Time for another out of this world story from our space. First up, got my serial cheating wife out of my house. I'm male, by the way. I found out last week my wife of 6 years was cheating on me. She's been unemployed since the beginning of the pandemic. She has turned to gaming to pass the time. She has lots of online friends that she plays with and parties on COD. That's Call of Duty for you non-gamers. Oftentimes, she chats with them on Discord or Snapchat to coordinate times to get on the game. Most of her friends are girls, so I really didn't see anything wrong. Around November, she has really started talking a lot to this specific girl, text, Discord, Snapchat, FaceTime, 24/7. She had been acting very suspicious. Whenever I walked into our office, she would jump up quick and turn her phone off. She seemed annoyed when I'm in there. I had a bad feeling in my gut, so I confronted her about it. She said her friend has depression, anxiety, lives in a toxic household, and is suicidal, and she was trying to be there for her. Seemed legit, but I still had a bad gut feeling. In December, we went to a friend's house to celebrate New Year's. She spent the whole time on the phone or texting. Even my friends noticed she was acting strange. My wife is usually the life of the party. Again, she says she's helping her friend through depression, anxiety, and suicidal thoughts. A few days later, out of the blue, my wife asked if she could visit her friend, who lives 20 hours away. I said no, and she's out of her mind. This didn't sit right with me, so I decided to investigate. I knew all her passwords, so I checked her Discord and saw old messages between them. The overall conversation was kind of flirty. She had this girl under her contacts as girlfriend in the notes. I checked her Google Photos and saw a screenshot from Snapchat. My wife asked if her girlfriend liked the nudes. There were more messages where it was obvious that they were more than friends. I sent myself the photos and downloaded them. I signed into her Snapchat and changed the email and phone number. I read a few of the saved messages, and I could feel a few of my blood vessels throbbing. She asked how did she like the nudes. Then she just got done playing with herself thinking about her. Lots of long sexual paragraphs depicting what they were going to do to each other when they meet up. How her girlfriend ain't gotta worry about me. How she's so in love with her. I confronted my wife about it. I showed her the messages. She was in shock and blindsided about it, honestly. I read aloud some of the messages, as she really didn't know how to react. She said sorry and started to cry. In the heat of the moment, I said I wanted a divorce. I told her to leave and go to her parents. I couldn't sleep that night. I stayed up and read every message. I felt foolish. I cried a lot. I thought about hurting myself. Thought about trying to ruin the girlfriend's life. I had her address and phone number. Felt alone because I didn't have anyone to talk to. I might be foolish, but deep down, I still loved her. A few days later, I texted my wife and seeing if she still wanted to work things out. We texted for a few hours and we finally meet. We talked, and she admitted to what she did, and she apologized repeatedly. I asked honestly if she wanted a divorce, and she said no. I told her I'm hurt and it will take a while for me to trust her again. We're still trying to reconcile. It's been a few days, and I still cry about it even at work. I still have all the messages and photos. I still spy on my wife. Things just aren't the same anymore. I can tell she's sad. She cried saying she can't look at me because she feels shameful. Just trying to learn how to cope. I needed to get this off my chest. All right, community, let him have it. Krenak comes in with, the problem is that you caught her and that she didn't come clean. That will make it difficult to trust her again. If you wouldn't have caught her, then it would still be going on right now and they wanted to meet. She needs to go to individual counseling to find out what is wrong with her, why it was okay for her to give in to an affair, why she gave up on the marriage. She needs to learn to let go of the love she felt for the other woman. You need to accept that it might not work out with your wife. She destroyed your marriage, and the trust will never again be like it was before. That can lead to permanent problems if you don't take care of that. Maybe marriage counseling can help, but you should only do that a while after she started individual counseling. Reconciliation takes years, and your wife needs to show you all the time that it is still you that she wants. She needs to be patient and absolutely transparent in all she does. To be honest, the way your wife reacts right now sounds to me that she is more worried about her self-image than about your marriage. Maybe the reconciliation train has already left the station, but that is something you need to decide. What do you have to say for yourself, OP? She asked if she could still be friends with her, so maybe she's still trying something with her. Karina comes back again. No. Rule number one when it comes to reconciliation is that you cut the affair partner out of your life. Think about it like this. If you leave your wife right now and a day later you fall in love with another woman, do you think that you could have a normal friendship with your wife that you deeply loved until yesterday? Those feelings and desires don't vanish from one day to the other. She only wants to stay in contact with her affair partner to keep on entertaining her affair. Doesn't sound like she really wants a reconciliation. She just wants to keep you around while she keeps on with her affair. A partner that is seriously interested in reconciliation doesn't ask to stay in contact with the affair partner since the partner knows that it will hurt you. But she doesn't care about your feelings. Not when she started her affair, not when she wanted to make it physical, and not even now, after she realized that she might even lose you. Her affair partner is still more important to her. I would advise you to separate for a month so that you can really think about if you still want this woman to be your wife. Spoiler, a couple days after the separation, she will meet with the affair partner. Dipped USA wanted to chime in before we get to the update. What you are doing right now is called the pick-me dance, and it's a recipe for disaster. You just rug-swept the whole thing. You should not reconcile until and unless you see her actions. What amount of energy she is putting into reconciliation. If she asks you whether she could keep her as a friend, then in my honest opinion, she still doesn't understand what she did to your marriage, because there is no consequence. She isn't going to learn anything, so she'll do it again. You need to separate for some time to get a clear head, then decide. Otherwise, you'll be tormented with what if your whole future. Another thing, don't get her pregnant in the next few years. Good luck. Okay, time for the update and then a quick comment or two. The 2 weeks after I kicked her out, I was deeply heartbroken and didn't know how I would make it. I absolutely hated being alone in my apartment. Had so many mixed emotions. I started writing down my thoughts and found that journaling helped to ease my mind. I started walking just to get out of the house, and now I walk for my health. I told my family and friends a few days after I kicked her out. They were very supportive and really helped me through this. At first, I still wanted my marriage to work out. I thought my wife was in what's called limerence. I thought she would snap out of it. But what really allowed me to give up is when she met up with her girlfriend. I gave up on her after that. Felt like a big weight lifted off of my heart. I'm okay with being alone. We are getting divorced. We both agreed to it. We are on speaking terms, but only about things pertaining to the divorce or her belongings. By the way, we have no kids, thankfully. I plan on moving after the divorce and focusing on my career. Asil NZ says, I have had the same event in my life. The one warning I will give you is that coming out is so politically correct that ignorant people will be so busy congratulating her that they will ignore she is a cheater. These same people will accuse you of being homophobic for having a normal reaction to finding your wife cheating on you. The flip side of this is that it is sort of a get-out-of-jail-free card because it is not with another guy, and you have a reason for her infidelity. A reason is something that almost no one ever gets. I really do advise no contact with anyone who supports her, and of course, due to the politically correct stuff, that is going to happen. She will feel no guilt for cheating due to all the congratulatory stuff she receives. In fact, they will make her feel ecstatic for cheating on you, and that version of her is not good for you to engage with. Mr. Niz wanted to add in this. Read this, OP. Partners of people who leave a traditional partnership for a same-sex relationship are often vilified for objecting to their partner's infidelity. Don't be surprised if someone reaches back to you to validate your wife's decision to commit adultery by agreeing how brave she is. They're expecting you to nod your head and be supportive. Going 100% no contact and not engaging in any dialogue with any of her cheer squad is the only way to avoid it. Adultery is adultery. It isn't brave. It's the opposite of that. You're not obliged to be her public relations agent. Good luck going forward. Sounds like you have a plan. Alright, now I have time for one more quick story before we head out. Letting go was the best thing I could have done for myself. Little backstory. My ex-husband, who I was with for 5 years, had an affair with a coworker and left me for her 3 weeks after we got married. He lied about it for months, while sleeping with both of us. I had suspicions that he was cheating before he left me, and then asked him about it, and of course, he was so offended I could even think that. So I begged him to try couples therapy with me, because I didn't want to believe he would cheat, until I found proof that had been going on since before he left me. It was a truly terrible time for me. I felt so hurt and confused and just shattered. I was only 30 and was going to be divorced and thought everyone would think there was something wrong with me. Eventually, I started dating again, but actively hid the fact that I was going through a divorce out of shame, which I regret now because having something like this done to you is not something to be ashamed about. We are literally the victims of someone else's selfishness. We are the casualties. To everything that happened, I ended up falling for someone I have been friends with for 10 years. Even though neither of us had ever seen each other as anything more than platonic. He was there for me during my difficult times, and I realized I was developing feelings and didn't think about my ex when he was around. The first time we kissed felt like actual magic. It felt so right. We were about to celebrate 1 year of being together, and I realized this is it. This is what I was supposed to have. The connection, the respect, the unconditional love. If it took going through what I went through to be where I am now, for our timing to be right, I'd do it again in a heartbeat. And more than anything, I'm proud of myself. I let go and never looked back once I knew the truth. I finally let myself acknowledge that I deserve better. I deserve so much more than lies and cheating, let alone the years of emotional abuse I endured. What happened to me will always be a chapter in the book of my life, but I won't let it rewrite my whole story. All right, folks, let's check in on some quick comments before we call it a wrap. Robin 1001 Music says, I am so happy for you that you found your way out of the darkness. You deserve only the best. Someone who loves you and cherishes and honors you. JStock17 has the last comment. Happy for you. Some people don't want to hear that when you stay in a relationship with an unapologetic cheater. They victimize you when they cheat. You victimize yourself every moment of your time you continue to give them. Glad you are not doing that to yourself.